miles beyond their limits. Aberdeen, decades ago, extended theirs 3 miles outside of city limits and has been exercising jurisdiction jointly with Brown County since that time. What that has meant is that in the actual application of that zoning jurisdiction, Brown County and city planning commissions have met jointly, but city zoning board has been the sole zoning board authority within the 3 mile jurisdiction. Because of complaints and other concerns that the county was having with how the city was handling the 3 mile, the county had proposed entering into a joint ordinance, which is again a perfectly permissible way of approaching this, but also having a joint zoning board and otherwise updating things from the county's perspective, because the city did not feel that would necessarily ameliorate the confusion or lessen the complaints. The city has decided, based upon the review and recommendation of the planning and zoning director, to move for a repeal of the joint jurisdiction, which means that there will still be zoning within the area outside of Aberdeen, but it will just simply be overseen and regulated by the county. So again, business will continue as usual. Instead of going to the city for a building permit, for example, now you will go to the county for a building permit. You will follow the county's regulations. So that would be the effect of the repeal. And for city residents who might be concerned about what impact that could have on the future growth of the city outside of city limits, this is something that the city can reassert authority if it wants, can re-exercise the joint jurisdiction within the 3 mile, 1 mile, 2 mile, up to 6 miles. The administration had prepared a repeal jurisdiction, ordinance, which is relatively simple, frankly. It involved 3 chapters. It was repeal some language regarding the exercise of authority outside the city limits. That repeal ordinance did go in front of the Joint City Planning County Commission. They unanimously recommended approval of the repeal ordinance, and that has gone through the the notice process, and we are here at this time, and the administration is recommending approval and for first reading of the repeal ordinance.
Entertain a motion for first reading.
So moved.
Second.
Vic.
Rux, was it you?
Me or Mike, we said it at the same time.
Okay, and Remley, the second, Carl. Questions or comments on the motion to pass first reading? Being none, a lot of you showed up. Give you the opportunity if you have comments on it or not. Obviously, from the lack of questions or comments here, there is no adversarial opinion to this motion at this time. I'm assuming the votes are going to be yes. So if you all had further questions or anything, you can either speak now or you can talk to your commissioners or council members afterwards, or you could talk to people before next week when it'll be here for second reading. So with that, since there are no further questions or comments, Carl, roll call for first reading ordinance 190504.
Councilmember Remley.
Aye.
Ronayne.
Aye.
Lunsman.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Bunceness.
Aye.
Olson.
Aye.
Rux.
Aye.
Mayor Leeson.
Aye. Motion carries. And those of you who came in regard to this, if you don't want to stay and keep us company, you don't have to. The rest of the meeting won't be very long anyway. The next item is Resolution 1906-04.
Thank you, Mayor. This joint resolution was drafted with the assistance of Carly Winter with the Brown County State's Attorney's Office, and the objective of it is to provide for some certainty during this transition period while the 3 mile extraterritorial zoning jurisdiction is being repealed. So the council is aware, and so the audience is aware, there are matters that come before both the city planning department and the county planning department that may require a hearing by one of the commissions or the board. That hearing process takes time, and the concern is that somebody would start in the city, and by the time the repeal goes into effect, now it suddenly has to be with the county. So what we've drafted here is a resolution that allows for essentially cross-deputizing the planning departments during this process, so that any action taken by the county planning department, for example, would be authorized and ratified by the city, and vice versa as far as the city actions. So that was the effort here, the joint resolution. Administration would recommend approval of the resolution, especially in light of the approval first reading of the appeal ordinance. Moved.
Second.
Motion Ronayne, second by Bunceness. Questions or comments on this one? Carl, roll call, first reading, please.
Councilmember Rux,
Aye.
Olson,
Aye.
Bunceness,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Lunsman,
Aye.
Ronayne,
Aye.
Remley,
Aye.
Mayor Leveson.
Aye, motion carries. And again, I'll remind you that the ordinance that was passed in advance of this resolution will be up for possible second reading and final adoption next week. I would suggest if any of you have any questions or comments, you start with Mr. Wager. Don't call me, because I'll just refer you to him anyway. He's the one that's been working on it. So if anything comes up in this intervening week, start there, and he'll have the answers or direct you to somebody who does. Okay? Next item, C, Resolution 1906-01, vacation of right-of-way. Brett.
This right-of-way is located on 12th Avenue Northwest. The property owner is requesting the 15-foot vacation in order to obtain property to add into their adjacent property. That right-of-way right now is currently 100 feet wide, and it was set up years ago to have the boulevard run down the center. We don't have that. We're not going to put that in. So staff recommends approval of the vacation.
Moved.
Second.
Motion Bunceness, second by Rux. Questions, anyone? All those in favor of approving that vacation of right-of-way, then say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Item D, this is the appointed time for hearing on transfer of the on-sale liquor license from JT Restaurants, doing business as Max and Irma's, to Eagle River LLC. Anyone here to speak in objection to this request? If not, I entertain a motion from the council to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Motion Rux, second by Remley. Questions, comments from the council? All in favor of approving the transfer, then say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries
And I would abstain.
with one abstention. Councilmember Ronayne. Item E, we're asked to appoint Bethany Russell to the Aberdeen Parks and Recreation Board.
Moved.
Second.
Motion Bunceness, second by Johnson. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
There is an additional. Oops. Okay, never mind.
All right. Item F, reappointment of Carl Perry to the Aberdeen Airport Board.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion
Clip.
Rux and second by Johnson. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Final item on the agenda, you have a short list of bills presented for payment to the city. I'd entertain a motion to pay those.
Moved.
Second.
Motion Bunceness, second by Olson. Questions on any of them? Carl?
Councilmember Remley,
Aye.
Ronayne,
Aye.
Lunsman,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Bunceness, Olson,
Aye.
Rux,
Aye.
Mayor Leveson.
Aye. Motion carries. Anything else? Somebody
Move to
make a
adjourn.
motion, we're out of here.
Second.
Motion Bunceness, second by Johnson. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.